So today I told you that we went to the National Asian Heritage Festival, right? And since we were talking about food, one of the big things why I wanted to go to that festival, I wanted to try the food. There's supposedly different um places serving, I mean, different parts of Asia that's represented there with their food, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
Did
I'm
they have
feeling
Koreans? Did they have Koreans with kimchi there?
they had Vietnamese food, they had some Filipino food, but again, they're infused. Um, they had some Japanese, your typical Chinese food and whatnot. But first, when I'm a little disappointed at how they put together this festival. One, it's because it's like maybe 3 blocks big. It's a small area. It's really, really small. The way they put this festival. It's maybe, like I said, maybe 3 or 4 blocks, maybe. Not even, you know.
Is that wait? Hold on. Is that too big? Too small? What do you mean?
It's too small.
Oh,
It's
it's
too
too
small.
small.
It's too small. There's only, hold on one sec. Ace.
Like not enough representatives. Not a lot of people.
Oh, there's a lot of people there. There's like so many people that showed up. But again, the way it's set up, the place is too small. And there was
Oh,
maybe only, I don't know, maybe 5 booths or tents that served food. And because of that, there
oh.
were so many people that the lines were ridiculously long. It was too
Sounds
long.
sounds like your weekend neighborhood talipapa. What do you call that?
Yeah,
You have like a weekend market would do better than
like a farmer's market.
a farmer's
No,
market would.
it's as big as a farmer's market. That's it. But unfortunately, the farmer's market actually had more food tents or participants in it. This festival, I kid you not, probably had one, two, three, four, no more than 20 tents, probably.
Mm-mm-mm.
And that's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. You know, like I'm gonna
Embarrassing
show
for the
you right now.
organizer or
Well,
embarrassing for the tents?
so for example, if this is okay, if this is the whole block, right here,
You got to put it closer to your camera. I could barely see
right.
it.
So if that's the full block, the section where
Okay.
it says food, that's the front part, okay,
Okay.
of the street. For example, they put all 4 or 5 food. Like this is this is the front of the festival. This is the end. They
Mm-hmm.
put all the food in front of the festival, in front of like the beginning of the festival area. And there's like 4, maybe 5 food tents. Because of that, there's a million people lining up to their food, blocking the way to go to the back of the festival. So
Oh,
front of the festival only looks like it's the crowded part, and the back part doesn't look that crowded because everybody's lined up on the food at the front part. Am I making sense here?
right. Yeah, they should have put it in the back so that people would be able to or have to pass through all the other
Correct. The other
stalls
booths.
first before they get to the food. Yeah.
Or put some in the front and put some on the back. Not like in
Spread
one general area.
spread them out.
Correct. It's horrible. It's let me do this. I want to explain this properly.
So it was the floor planning, the organization,
Right.
the
So 5 circles right there. Each circle represents um a food stall. This is the front of the festival. This is the back. Okay.
so
Am I making sense?
they were blocking it. Yeah.
Exactly. So each line here represents maybe a line for the food stall.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like don't bother going to the back. Here's the food.
Right. So
We all
everybody
know that you
else
we all
that's
know that you
walking
came here for the food.
they're having a hard time walking to the back of the festival because they can't get through because they're
Yeah.
blocking everything here. Granted, there's not a whole lot of booths or tents in the back of the festival.
Yeah, but you put that in the front. Yeah.
Yeah. But that being said, one, there's just not enough participants for this festival. It's quite embarrassing, to be quite honest with you.
So there were more customers or people walking in than there were participants or merchants
Well,
in the
there's just not
festival.
enough merchants to begin with. There's not enough
Oh,
merchants. It's embarrassing. Like I said, not enough merchants. I mean, two, four, maybe 20, if that. If I'm lucky, if I counted, I think I counted too much. That's it.
sorry. Did you say this was in DC?
Yeah.
Where'd you say it was again? So you drove all the way to DC to check it out.
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes away. National Asian Heritage Festival today in Washington, D.C.
Hmm. Just talk to
And
people. Were they feeling the same way about your sentiments about
some, I mean, um, it's so there's a lot of like white people, the different cultures that go to this festival, the Asian festival, right?
mm,
And the Asian community is just not properly represented by these vendors over there. It's
mm, mm,
it's
mm,
it
mm.
sucks, to be honest with you. It's by far one of this is the second time I've been there, okay? Last year me and my family went as well. But last year it was raining. Because of the rain, there was only what, maybe 10 tents and barely in any people walking around to this festival. It was
Mm-mm.
horrible. It was really, really bad.
Where do you think that comes from? Is it the Asian community not really being excited about their own culture, or you think it's really just comes down to the organizers?
I think it comes down to the organizers. They didn't, maybe they're making it too expensive for these vendors to join, or
Mm.
um, I don't know.
But the good side of it is that there are people that attend. I mean, the visitors, the guests.
There was
Pe-
definitely a lot of visitors this year. Okay. Which
uh.
was great. It was amazing. The
So there,
turnaround, the
yeah. So
weather
there
was
is a
great.
there is a market for it. There are people interested to go.
Yes, absolutely. There's just
Like,
poorly represented.
except the event itself was just
Yeah.
could have been better.
It definitely could have been better. It could have been organized better. And
Yeah.
the layout of the tents and whatnot, the food preparation, the layouts, it was poorly executed. I could have done better. The farmers market down the street every Saturday morning does a job 10 times better. And that's just the farmers market. You know what I mean?
I wonder why they thought about putting the food for. Maybe they thought, oh, okay. I think it would have been a soccer mom maybe that planned this, but on the flip side of that, maybe a soccer mom would have done a better job. Maybe the idea was that you walk in there, oh, okay, this is what we're going to do. They're going to walk in there, they're going to get their food, and then they're going to decide to walk around inside through the back while they're walking around with their food. Maybe that's what the whole.
I could see that happening, but the problem there is the lines to the food get so ridiculously long. It takes about what? It takes
Mm,
time to get your food. By the time you get your food and you're standing in the heat, you're not gonna want to walk around. You're gonna want to find shade so you can eat your food.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because that's how
So,
we felt today. Today was actually hot. It was pretty. I mean, not hot compared to the Philippines, but it was like 80 degrees or something. Well, I
mm-mm.
mean, it's t-shirt and shorts day already today. And I stood in line for maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes just to grab egg rolls and fish balls and all that stuff. That's it.
While the
Didn't
rest of
even
the family was walking around in the back enjoying the rest of the.
well, yeah, but again, to walk from front of the festival all the
Yeah,
way to the end doesn't
right.
even take 10 minutes. So we've already been back and forth multiple times before we decided to get food.
So how many days do they get to do this?
1 day.
Ah,
Exactly. I
and they
mean,
screwed
but
it up.
tomorrow there's a city next. I live in Loudoun County. There's a city next to where I live called Fairfax County. Um, they actually have an Asian festival as well tomorrow, but I don't
How
know if
they
we're gonna go to that.
how did they do it last year? Is it similar? Same setup?
Yeah. Same setup last year, but last year there weren't that many people because first of all, it was the first year back after the pandemic, and
Mm.
then it was actually raining as well. So it wasn't as big yet and crowded. But from years before, I mean, it's the 18th year that they've been doing it. So obviously they're doing
What?
something right. Yeah.
Oh,
But
wait. I get confused. I get confused. It was the first time that you went last year, but they've been doing it for 16, 17, 18 years already.
correct. Yeah. Yeah.
And they still haven't figured that part out.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I can't even
wow.
imagine how it was before I went. I mean, we've known that it was there. We just never went. But last year we decided to go. I'm sure
Yeah.
I've probably gone before too. I just forgot about it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's nice to know that it's happening.
Yeah, but it's
It's
horrible. It's a turnoff.
sad to think that they nobody's complaining about it. It hasn't been fixed.
I don't know, but this was in again. This is in D.C. in Washington D.C. Okay, the nation's
Mm-mm-mm.
capital, where the organizers should be organized and could have prepared
Mm-mm.
better. But it could also be on the vendors and the participants as well. It was just lacking. It was lackluster. Everything was so unorganized. They had so in the middle. I showed you that diagram where all that food stalls were, right?
Yeah.
Actually, in the middle of that, right smack in the middle of the road, is like a staging area where supposedly different parts of Asia are performing. There was somebody when we got there doing the tinikling. I actually have videos. When I
Yeah.
edit this episode, I'm actually gonna insert it.
Okay.
Um, they were doing tinikling and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
it was interesting. It was fun to watch, but it was poorly represented and poorly executed. They had a whole tinkling thing. They didn't have enough people to do the bamboo thing, so they had to pull people from the streets to do it. Obviously, they were screwing up because the beat was wrong and whatnot. It didn't look very entertaining, you know.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Same thing when the dragon the Chinese dragon dancers came out. They had the whole dragon thing, right?
Uh,
But it just looked off because they weren't organized or they would looks like they lacked practice or something. I don't know. You know?
have you heard about the Legazpi Sunday Market? I think is what they call it here.
No, no.
So, just to give you an idea, there's BGC, right? It's known to be like this
Right.
posh neighborhood. Like across the street from that, on the other side, Makati, practically same neighbor, same idea, pretty posh, but it's like the old rich kind of sort of neighborhood. But it's cute because they picked a park on the weekend. I think usually Sundays. It's a parking lot actually, and the way that they organized it, just
Mm,
listening to you gripe about the way they organized this event. Um, these guys, they keep it simple. The parking lot, they close the parking lot and open that to food stalls. And the way the food stalls are sort of organized, I think, is the parking slots.
right.
That's the food stall. So that I think it's been going on for a few number of years already, and it seems to be they have like a little community there over the
Right.
weekend. I've only been there like a couple of times,
What is it
but
called again? The Gatsby what?
the Gaspi Sunday Market, I think, is what it's called. But it's cute in a sense that that these guys probably don't the cost most of the customers probably don't come out of their condos or their nice little apartments in Makati,
Right.
and then all of a sudden they're out on a
Let me put
Sunday
it to you this
afternoon
way.
like this.
I just pulled a picture of this on
Mm.
Google.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, this looks 100 times more organized than the one I went to today. I'm not even kidding. I mean, this looks professionally organized. It looks like in order. Even the
Yeah.
stalls are, there's some kind of flow on. See, there's one picture where there's like a line of people for the food, right?
Uh,
I'm looking at it right
uh, uh,
now.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
the lines aren't in a way of blocking people.
But again, the way that it's done is they just keep it the way the parking lot is organized.
Right.
Food stalls are from the car slots.
The parking
That's
spaces itself.
the parking spaces, and then there's already arrows on the ground saying which way which way the traffic should flow.
Right, right.
So they
It's
weren't like reinventing the wheel there.
it's crazy. It's crazy. They literally put the food stalls in one area and the lines are going everywhere. And because there's so many people, the lines stretch out, I don't know, 100 people deep and more, and it's all over the place. So it's blocking the walkway. So if you go, like I said, if you go to the front part of the festival, it's crowded for sure because everybody's lining up for food, and you can barely
Mm-mm.
see the performers in the middle because of the line. And then if you pass the food area, and then it's practically not busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, I think it lacks enough representative culture wise for Asia. It's embarrassing to be honest with you. The whole DC Asian Heritage Festival since last year, I'll give it a pass. Because
Mm.
again, coming back from COVID, but the weather sucked last year. But this year, where there was God knows how many people, it was great weather, horrible, 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 by far worst representation of Asian festival I've ever attended. And I've been to a lot. That's my
I
two
want to.
cents of that.
I want to. Yeah. I wanted to. We should have tried something. Here we go again with the autopilot. I was just listening to you talk, but I should have asked you to screen share like what you saw or what you have on your
No, on my video.
not just on your video, but on what you Google searched or the if you took any pictures, you could
I
actually
did.
screen share that on the.
Yeah, it's on my phone though, but I'll edit everything in. Um, I should have done that. Stupid. I wasn't even thinking about it. Anyway. But there is a flip side to it. There is one saving grace. We ran into this Filipino booth in the festival that was
Mm,
actually quite impressive. And they basically, it's like a design shop where they put Filipino prints on clothes, stickers, hats, whatever. Um,
Filipino prints like the text in
yeah,
Tagalog in print.
yeah, it's called Wika,
We
W
got
I
designs.
K. Yes, Wika Designs.
Ah,
And I have to admit, they had a stall there at the um at the Asian festival, and I have to admit, I was quite impressed. The products that they have was
mm,
pretty good quality. They had hoodies, they had barongs,
mm.
they had the good barong, like the pineapple one made from pineapple.
Sorry, I got distracted about this bye bye, and I just feel sad that kind of too late to try to save it right now. You know how you know there's the Chinese characters, the Japanese characters,
Yeah.
and then there's bye bye. And
Uh,
some Filipinos, some millennials I see are trying to use that as their I think language on their phone, or they try to write to each other in bye bye. But
yeah. Yeah.
anyway,
Anyway.
segue to there's this whole story about how they put like Korean, Japanese, and Chinese characters in your regular QWERTY keyboard.
Yeah.
like a whole documentary that I saw about this last week about how they put that there. But anyway, so I just got distracted about one of the shirts that Wika Design has. So in case you guys didn't, if you, if that flew over, Baybayin is the like the character alphabet of the Tagalog.
Hmm.
Baybayin. So there's what do we call ABCs? Alphabets,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
alphabet is to the ABCs as Baybayin is like how
I'm
the
lost.
the the written the Tagalog written is Baybayin. So am I saying that right?
No idea.
Okay,
No idea.
never mind.
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
Now the interesting thing is that Baybayin and ABCs, oh your live pause,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Baybayin and ABCs are written are in single letters or single syllable, so each one has a sound
Right.
like abacada, ABC, abacada in baybayin, for example, and then ABCs in the alphabet,
Right.
right? But the interesting thing about the Korean, Chinese, and Japanese, these are characters. They're practically whole ideas, phrases, sentences in one character. And like there's like thousands of characters in one language. How do you
Is
put that in on a keyboard like this?
hmm.
You know how
Is
they did it?
no.
TLDR, too long, don't read. Um, predictive text. So if you click one letter, the computer will give you like, is this what you mean? Is this what you mean? Is this what you mean? And then you just choose from, so because like so one letter could mean like 10 different characters, and
Yeah,
then you
but
just choose one.
that takes more time.
No, not for the computer. So that's AI basically.
Ah, I got it. I got it. Got it. Got it. Well,
Yeah,
that sounds interesting.
that's the documentary that I saw. So yeah, so for us, for by buy-in and ABCs, it's one letter per alphabet,
Right.
right? So for them, they have different characters, but you just click one alphabet, and then and they have like contests for
Who
character
can?
writing. Yeah,
Ah, I see. I see. I see. I see. I see.
yeah, there's a contest for that anyway. So what do you suggest? Do you want to talk to the organizers and be part of the organizing team next year?
If they can do a better job and try to organize this and get more vendors, that would be awesome. I mean, they could
Mm,
have reached out to the Asian grocery stores like Lotte or H Mart or whatever they have it here, and
mm,
like try
mm,
to get
mm.
them to participate. That would be great. Have a proper, more representation because it looked really sad.
Yeah.
It looked like the food just took over everything, and then the other booths, horrible. Honestly,
Maybe they thought that Asians would just flock to them and to the organizers, and you know what I mean.
honestly, it looked
Sometimes it's kind,
lazy to me. It
yeah.
looked really lazy.
Sometimes maybe it's like that. Oh, maybe we're a big enough event that people will come to us, and then they didn't reach out to their
Yeah,
constituents. You know what I mean? It's like you never really know what's going on in the kitchen,
yeah. I don't know. I mean,
or
it was
maybe
quite annoying.
maybe they planned it like 6 days before the event.
I mean, they could have, but
You
still,
know? No,
even
I
if
mean
it's
what I'm saying is if something like that once a year happens, you should be planning that 3 6 months before, right?
right, right.
And if you come up with a layout like that and not enough people, sounds like you just came up with it 6 days ago.
It's just
That's
horrible
that's my
representation.
impression.
Yeah, it looks like they just half-assed it and reached out to people, like you said, like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Or
You know,
simple, like maybe they didn't do enough research on to see how everybody else does it around
right?
the world,
They
and
could
to
have been.
sort of,
They could have been so many reasons. I think it's just
yeah,
organization and the people that planned it out just got lazy. Like you
or
said, they probably expected vendors to like flock and like want to join, but they didn't, and then nobody reached out. It's horrible.
they could have gotten a bunch of freshman college students,
Yeah. And even though I wanted to
organizing
try
it
the
for the
food,
first time.
I couldn't even try all the food. I barely tried anything because again, the lines were just too long. I'm not gonna stand in line for an hour when I have a baby with me, a 3-year-old with me. It's gonna be horrible.
Yeah.
The saving grace, again, this company right here, Wika Designs. They were actually
Mm.
quite cool. People were nice. The products looked really legit. So check them out. WikaDesigns.com. That's WIKA designs.com. Anyway.
Maybe they can make FlipSide t-shirts for us.
Oh,
Man,
give them a calm down.
that's if you have a budget for it. I don't mean that as sponsorship or freebies, but
No, it's not. It's really getting a shirt done is not that bad. It's not that expensive. I can get one done for $20 right now. It's
oh,
just a
you
matter of it's just a matter of using the right logo and how we want it done. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, you can catch the full episodes on youtube.com at The FlipSide with Jay and Noel. Full episodes uploaded every Wednesdays and Saturdays.